Opening Night 2, Sparks, London, October 13th and 14th, 1886. Marco spends the first several hours of opening night taking surreptitious glances at his watch, waiting impatiently for the hands to reach midnight. The unexpected early arrival of the Murray twins has complicated his schedule already, but if the lighting of the bonfire proceeds as planned, that should be enough. It is the best solution he can come up with, knowing that in a few weeks the circus will be hundreds of miles away, leaving him alone in London. And while Isabel may prove helpful, he needs a stronger tie. Ever since he discovered the venue for the challenge, he has been slowly taking on more responsibility for the circus, doing all that Chandra's asked of him and more, to the point where he was given free rein, with everything from approving the design of the gates to ordering the canvas for the tents. It worries him, the scope of the binding. He has never attempted anything on this scale, but there seems no good reason not to start off the game as strongly as possible. The bonfire will provide him with a connection to the circus, even though he is not entirely certain how well it will work. And with so many people involved, it seems sensible to add an element of safety to the venue. It has taken months of preparation. Chandrash was more than willing to let him organize the lighting, having already deemed him invaluable to the circus planning with only mild coercion. A wave of a hand, and the details were all up to him. And most important, Chandrash agreed to let it be a secret. The lighting itself took on the air of a midnight dinner, with no questions permitted as to the ingredients or menu, no answers provided as to what the arrows are tipped with to create such an astounding effect, how the flames are made to shift from one vibrant hue to another. Those who did inquire during preparations and rehearsals were told that to reveal the methods would ruin the effect, though of course Margot has been unable to rehearse the most important part. It is easy enough for him to slip away from Chandrash in the crowded courtyard just before midnight. He makes his way toward the twisted iron, moving as close as he can to the empty cauldron. He takes a large, leather-bound notebook from his coat, a perfect copy of one that has been safely locked in his office. No one in the milling crowd notices as he tosses it into the bottom of the cauldron. It lands with a thud that is muffled by the ambient noise. The cover flips open, exposing the elaborate ink tree to the star-speckled night sky. He stays close to the edge of the twisted metal while the archers take their places. His attention remains focused on the flames, despite the press of patrons around him, as the fire is amplified through a rainbow of hues. When the last arrow lands, he closes his eyes. The white flames burn red through his eyelids. Celia expected to feel like a poor imitation of her father during her first performances, but to her relief the experience is vastly different from the one she watched so many times in theater after theater. The space is small and intimate. The audiences are modest enough that they remain individual people rather than blending into an anonymous crowd. She finds she is able to make each performance unique, letting the response of the audience inform what she chooses to do next. While she enjoys it more than she thought she would, she is grateful that she has stretches of time to herself in between. As it nears midnight, she decides to see if she can find a place to discreetly watch the lighting of the bonfire. But as she makes her way through the area that has already been referred to as backstage despite the lack of stage, she is quickly swept up in the somewhat ordered chaos surrounding the impending birth of the Murray twins. Several of the performers and staff have gathered, waiting anxiously. The doctor who has been brought in seems to find the entire situation strange. The contortionist comes and goes. Aidan Murray paces like one of his cats. Celia endeavors to be as helpful as she can, which consists mainly of fetching cups of tea and finding new and creative ways to assure people that everything will be fine. Reminds her so much of consoling her old spiritualist clients that she is surprised when she is thanked by name. The soft cry that sounds minutes before midnight comes as a relief, met by sighs and cheers, and then something else immediately follows. Celia feels it before she hears the applause echoing from the courtyard, the shift that suddenly spreads through the circus like a wave, courses through her body, sending an involuntary shiver down her spine, almost knocking her off of her feet. "Are you all right?" a voice behind her says, and she turns to find Tsukiko laying a warm hand on her arm to steady her. The too-knowing gleam that Celia is beginning to find familiar shines in the contortionist's smiling eyes. "I'm fine, thank you," Celia says, struggling to catch her breath. "You are a sensitive person," Tsukiko says. "It is not unusual for sensitive people to be affected by such events." Another cry echoes from the adjoining chamber, joining the first in a gentle chorus. "They have remarkable timing," Tsukiko says, turning her attention to the newborn twins. Celia can only nod. "It is a shame you missed the lighting," Tsukiko continues. "It was remarkable as well." While the Murray twins' cries subside, Celia tries to shake the feeling that remains tingling over her skin. She is still unsure who her opponent is, but whatever move has just been made, it has rattled her. She feels the entirety of the circus radiating around her, as though a net has been thrown over it, trapping everything within the iron fence, fluttering like a butterfly. She wonders how she is supposed to retaliate.